Yes, Deborah, you have sent a request. Yes, you can be in, right? Hello, Kaylee. That's a very big hi. Hi, David, how are you? Through the years. Is that a song you're requesting? But still breathing. Hi Rash, how are you? Alright, so have you all watched the lectures that I posted? Looks like about 50 students have watched the YouTube video. Okay, were there any problems? Yeah? Alright, I have a question by Kelly. The question is, sir, I didn't really understand what you meant by flexible ethnocentrism. Okay. Did you all do the ethnocentrism test? Something I do not know. Okay, what is that? Alright, I mentioned in the lecture, in the recorded lecture, that all of us are ethnocentric to a certain degree, right? So being flexible as well as ethnocentric means that you can not like a certain thing, right? You can be disgusted at certain thing. You might be disgusted at people, for example, eating pangolins and bats, right? But doesn't mean that people who do things that are disgusting to you, okay, people who have different preferences, different diet preferences, different cultural practices, right, doesn't mean that you have to avoid them, you have to discriminate against them. So being flexible means ethnocentrically, you accept what they do despite the fact that you do not like what they do, right? We're not saying that you should accept everything, but at least, just balance up between knowing that they do things that may be very strange, very specific to their culture, which may be very grotesque, but you still accept them as human beings. You accept them as diverse. You accept that they have different preferences, and therefore you're not going to discriminate against them. So that is being a bit flexible in terms of ethnocentrism, because it is normal to be ethnocentric. It is normal to think that our cultural group is more superior than other groups, and that's a very common thing across all religions, racial groups. But to acknowledge the differences, but at the same time accept that people do different things, people eat different stuff, people have different practices that may not be of your liking. Does that explain a little bit, Kelly? If you have time, you can go and check out the Padlet, right? The culture test that I posted on padlet.com/JamesL/PSY207. You can also do the Mentimeter test, right? To name 3 things that you find terribly disgusting. The top 3 things that you find other people doing from other cultures, and you just would not have enough guts, or you would not even try to do those things. You can do that later, and I will post up the summary later. Hello, King Hawk Gary, Sing Fei, Nalini, Yik Huang, and XOXOKXN. I wonder what that stands for, but hello, hi everybody. Alright, so I've answered one question. Was there another question regarding the slides? So this week we were talking about culture, right? Culture, race, and religion. Oh, Mentimeter doesn't work. What happened? Let me check later, and I'll get back to you in my next live session. I'm not sure why it's not working. All right, but you got the flow, right? How it's recommended to be flexible in our ethnocentrism rather than dogmatic and rigid, and avoid people who do things that are not of your liking. Thanks for the question, Kelly. All right, anybody else have any questions? Being flexible but with pet peeves, yeah. That's another way of putting it, right? So we do have our own pet peeves, but then we also need to understand that different people have got different ways of living their lives, right? I'm sure those of you who are living with other people, you've got other housemates in the house, and everybody has got their own different habits and different so-called disgusting things that you cannot stand, right? But you still have to live with them, right? You still have to sometimes close one eye. Was there a follow-up question to that? So what are some of your pet peeves, Kelly? Kaylee, okay. Yes, hello, Jachen, how are you? Are you currently in Brunei or in Malaysia? Anybody else got any questions? If not, oh, now the question comes back to me. What are your pet peeves? I think you all know, right? Okay, judging in Malaysia, right? Stay safe. Hi, Cherry. So one of it is I do not like I do not like people coming late for appointments, so that I'm sure everybody noticed that. So that's one of my pet peeves. On the other hand, I also do not like people to leave their rubbish or trash overnight. Leave it in the sink. Do not wash things up properly. I do not like. In terms of classes, yeah, it'd be good if everybody shows up right on time. How about you, Kaylee? But despite that, just to show you, despite that, I'm also flexible. And you notice that students who come into class half an hour late, but although I do not like, but I have to tolerate that because that's just. Some people just are not very punctual. That's it. I'm not very time conscious. All right, it is 3:15. If there are no more questions, then I will come back at around 5 o'clock. Is that okay? Oh, there's one question. Regarding final exam, are there any updates on the final exam structure? Okay, that relates to the next question as well. Will the chapters in the midterms be covered? Okay, so in regards to your final exam, we haven't got all the questions set up yet, but one thing I can tell you is all those 90 MCQ questions will be gone, right? We are not allowed to have MCQ questions because this is going to be an open book exam. So I will have to rethink on what kind of questions, but most likely the questions will be application essays, right? You really need to think a little bit and apply those things after midterm. So anything that had all the chapters that have been covered from chapter 1 to chapter 7, if I'm not mistaken, the first half of the semester will not be covered. But as you know, there are some repetitions in the application chapters after midterm, right? Because the application chapters are actually using those theories you have learned earlier in the first half of the textbook, and they are putting it to and they are discussing it again, right? So there are some repetitions. So I will not refer to the first half of the textbook when setting the exam, but yeah. So you're right, Becky. Becky mentioning that will it be higher order thinking skills? Yes. So I will try to come up with questions that require you to apply, synthesize, analyze, and create something. So it won't be just memorization questions. Anyway, it's an open book exam, so the answers actually it will be too straightforward if it's just MCQ or just memorization. So yes, you need to go and look up Bloom's taxonomy, BLOOM, Bloom's taxonomy, for those of you who are not familiar with higher order thinking skills. So yes, correct, Becky. And yeah, we will not cover those chapters that are already covered in midterm. And for those of you who have just joined, yes, there's not going to be any more multiple choice questions for the final exam. It's all going to be typed out, right? It's just like typing out an assignment. You're going to type it out, and I'm going to give you a word limit, and then you're going to post it to turn it in, and then we'll check whether you have copied, from various sources with very little higher order thinking skills, just copy and paste. So we will check that, or the tutor will check that, and just make sure that it is just like an exam. It's just that there's not going to be shading of any MCQ sheet. Point